big love for you guys and what you're doing every week. Look, I mean, I am the elected Member of Parliament for Ealing Central Acton. Hitesh Taylor is here. Where's he hiding?
He's here.
Yeah, he is the councillor for where we are now, East Acton Ward. So when people say complain to your MP, in your case, or complain to your councillor, that's us too. And I don't want to go on for ages because everyone's been here a long time, and politicians are always very unpopular people. They're down there with like used car salesmen in the trustworthy states. But I mean, there are sometimes issues that have been fought on for decades. People have been marching and protesting for decades, centuries even. Things like police brutality. We just took a knee, didn't we? 8 minutes, 47 seconds, I think it was. And that's how long George Floyd was kneed to death. Let's just hope, friends, that his death is not just another in a list of names. Do you know what I mean? In this country, we've had Cynthia Jarrett, Cherry Gross, John Charles de Menezes. There's a whole load, Mark Duggan. And sometimes there are issues that kind of slow burn, and then it takes a flashpoint event to make them explode and blow up. Let's hope that the death, of Brother George has not been in vain, that this is one. And we've seen it as well with COVID, haven't we? It started off when we saw the pictures of the people who were dying, and we thought, hang on, they're all of the same pigmentation. And then the figures came out, the report from Public Health England that showed, I think they called it comorbidities or something. I mean, quite often it makes me uncomfortable. I don't know about you guys. It feels like we are being blamed. They say these are people who are in multi-generational households, people that have got high blood pressure, hypertension, all these things. But it's this sort of conflation of circumstances and disadvantage that has done this, that, means that black lives are being lost at an alarming rate. So when people say all lives matter, that's ridiculous. Black lives matter, because if you said all lives matter, that's like going to Great Ormond Street Hospital and saying, well, adults die too, because it's black people that are losing their lives at such a disproportionate rate. That is why we have to carry on this struggle and this fight, because black lives do matter, and we've got to sort of reverse all these historic injustices of this appalling death toll that we have in this country. And look, I brought my son here. He doesn't usually like to be seen anywhere dead with me. I dragged him out today. And, that next generation, they need to be taught the stuff we heard from Balvinda, the history lessons that we've had today from Ghana as well. It's enlightening. Kids are not taught that in schools. It's all a very whitewashed version of history. You said that Wilberforce, they imprint that name. There are alternative histories of struggles that have gone on for hundreds and hundreds of years, and people need to be alive to that. And the toppling of the statue of Edward Colston, I've never heard of the guy, but that has probably put, the transatlantic slave trade, the death ships that you talked about, the Black Star liners, to the front of people's consciousness like nothing ever before. And it was an exhilarating moment. I'm an elected politician, and we believe in representative democracy. You do things properly through committees and votes, but it was brilliant to see him decapitated, rolled along, and then chucked in the sea where all the slave ships used to come. So, I found that an exciting moment, and I think we've got to reevaluate all those statues. When they boxed up Churchill, we're taught that this man is a sort of god, but the Tony Pandy massacre in Wales, the Bengal massacre, my fellow country people, 3 million of them wiped out. They give us a very sanitised version of history. And I think Gavin Williamson said kids need to be taught the good as well as the bad. It's too much of the good, too much of the airbrush that people are taught. So let's fight to get a more representative curriculum, because, as the brother before said, you cannot understand your present unless you understand your past. So, look, I said I would be short. Politicians come in for a lot of flack, I know. But look, we are trying Hitesh as well on the council. I think the council is doing a review next month of all the dodgily named streets and statues. So if you've got anything, feed into there. I think there's a street in Southall, Havelock, named after a big slaver. I mean, why are we venerating and celebrating people like that? Literally with blood on their hands or whatever. So, just want to echo everything that's been said. When they try and divide, we have got to unite. And I know that term BME, some people don't like it because it does sort of, I know, it does lump everyone together into a whole big dustbin category, doesn't it? It's very simplistic. But in some ways, we've got to be united as well, because they try and divide and rule these people. So in some ways, it's a unifying. I realise it's very problematic, but you know, when they seek to divide, we've got to be united. When they try and sow the seeds of hate, we've got to respond with love. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to end there. Hopefully, a change is going to come, because a change is darn well needed. Thank you.